This is Damour, and I will be streaming with you for the next while. What's up, everybody? We have our weekend challenge in progress. Let's check out. We have 77 people checked in, all ready to go for our qualifying round. Are you guys ready to compete? So let's have a look at our qualifiers. Max Maka in the house, Neophyte, Verpa, Sanji, Nana, Van, Moopa, Bad Pixie, Slafer Red, Keith Ray, Shira, To You, Smart Start, Sab. Definitely some names we recognize. OMG, that's a new one from the Krill Crew. Nice. Kazrak. That's a name I recognize as well. Nashaliana. Weakling. Rick. Nab. Queasy. Gentle Barbarian. Cardaz. And J.R. Smith. Monsters Tamer. And of course, Never Melt Ice. Good luck to those who are in the qualifying round. XVax in the house. Welcome, sir. Have you entered our tourney for today? Were you lucky to get a bye for our qualifying round? Nice. Always nice to get a free ride to our first round. So yeah, today is just me in the house, going on a solo adventure here with our Silver Weekend Challenge. What are you guys excited about out here in the Splinterverse? Happy about some of our changes that are happening? Unhappy about some things that the team are doing? Somebody else just joined us live. Welcome, welcome. Our tournament is underway. Qualifying rounds are closing out. A couple of more white names that do need to complete their battles, but we are approaching our first official round. Some of the regular names making their way through. Gregory Levenfeld. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining us on the show. And in the tournament, I believe. I think I saw a Gregory something here or other. It may not be you. Just waiting for our first round or qualifying round to complete. There we go. One name left, two names left on the list. Almost there. move from the Shin Lo guild and a Peak Monsters feeder guild with Bad Pixie. Iborian Dream. Interesting. Love these names. People can always get so creative with their guild names and their account names. Dave Ira in the house. Bob Carr here as well. I'm in the tournament. To you is Gregory. Ah, excellent, excellent. Bob Carr, I wish you good luck. It seems like you got a bye and you will be facing off in our first round, which is great. I'm very happy to see you make some progress. Getting a little bit further, even if it is by luck of the draw. Right, so our first official round is underway. Top 32 or something along those lines, it looks like. Who is gonna take it today? Who is walking away with our number one position? Max Maka in the house. Boomburst surrendered. Why did you surrender, sir? What happened? Expecting a whale to bully me. All right, all right. Yeah, I hope that's not the case. Silver decks max level here, so no whales in sight. Only silver level decks. Even if you are, even if you don't own them, should not be too expensive to rent a silver deck. And hopefully, in not too long a time, I'll be able to host some ghost card tournaments. That is the intention ultimately. I want to run ghost card tournaments so that in that way, nobody needs to rent anything, and you'll be able to compete on an equal field with everybody else in the tournament, right? That is what I would like to see here. That is my dream for this challenge, for this tournament, and I hope to be able to do it in not too long a time. I've only seen the one ghost card tournament go up from Splinterlands itself. I don't think it's something that they've, launched officially to the public yet. But hopefully, in not too long a time, we can look forward to having access to those features. They will be a game changer, for sure, for sure. So let's see if we got any games that are watchable at this stage. We got an X-Vax and a Crypto Paps. All right. Water versus the Sloan. An X-Vax is a watcher. So that means he took part in the pre-sale for Rift Watchers. Very nice. Got himself a title and all of that. Not playing with any other Rift Watcher cards, though. Sticking to the Chaos Legion and the Untamed set here. Ooh, that miss is gonna hurt. That miss is going to hurt. It may be the end of the Sloan team. Another miss just to nail the coffin properly. Sadly, X-Vax, that does get you a loss versus the water. Too many misses. Angst Gegner versus Small Circle. Both of these names. Okay, we're getting a surrender. Is the surrender thing a bug again, guys? Are there many people that are experiencing issues with making games? Oshu, nice to see you in the chat. Or Osku, I'm not sure exactly how to say that name, but I do recognize it. Dave the Great versus Stevie Nicks from the 420 Syndicate. That sounds like something I am into. Classic Kelia versus Kelia, Demon Shark versus the Cethropod. Deep Lurker doing work here in the back. Cethropod just surviving long enough for the backliners to put the nail in the coffin. Great one, Dave. Nicely played. Always a strong contender, no matter which tournament you are competing in. BJ Shadow versus Liz. We have an Obsidian and a Scargore matchup here. Nice. The Grund versus a Gargoyle Lion. Luke's favorite card. Oh no, Bobcar went up against Max Maka. Max Maka is a very strong opponent, Bobcar. But yeah, hopefully you can learn a lesson from the teams he played versus you. You did manage to get to round one. Hopefully that squeezes out a prize for you. I'm sure you will get something at least. Hopefully one of our lucky number 5 spots. So Obsidian takes the win here with Liz beating out a BJ Shadow from the Summoner's Tribe. I am Gem in the house as well versus Miguel. Kelia versus the Thaddeus. Now the question is Gem going to go with a magic play? Little bit of magic, but not really something that's going to be affected by the Thaddeus. Holy Shield doing work. All of those first hits going nowhere. Earthquake kicking in and doing damage, taking names, making sure all of those Holy Shields are popped. Some misses, which is great for Miguel. Some more Earthquake. Silent Shavi goes down. No more misses for Miguel this time around. The Trample kicks off. Holy Protection falling, and I Am Gem takes the win for that one. Let's have a look. Nana and Luis from the UT. Fire lineups. Okay, I'll be back. It is hard playing in silver with a bronze deck. Yes, it is almost impossible, Bobcar. With tournaments, you need to rent at the very least, you know, two splinters. I would recommend 4, in the hopes that, you know, if one of those get picked, you have a fairly good chance of competing. If you get one of the other 2 splinters, then sadly, you may not be able to field a team, but you cannot expect to be getting wins in tournaments if you do not have a silver deck or rent a silver deck, right? Or some splinters to get you to silver. Right. Boom Burst taking names. Or wishing people good luck. I think rather than taking names, I think that's before the matches are taking place and not after. Ash Mirage, Riftwatcher card in the house. Things are not looking good for the Luis team here. Nana seems to have his number. Forgotten One taking out the tank. Disintegrator falling on the back, giving a little bit more damage to Luis's team, but sadly too little, too late. Nana takes the win for that one. Slave for Red versus Hentai. Hentai Chopper. Okay, Obsidian versus the Kelia. Thorn's doing a little bit of work there with the Venari Knifer. Taunt almost falling. Finally goes down with some reflection shield action. Of course, always something that you need to keep in mind, right? The new rule sets. You don't want to play magic in this rule set. You're gonna come off second, okay? Do be careful. Do be careful. I know there are new rule sets and not everybody's used to them yet, but you know, do pay attention. Do pay attention. Still some white names in the mix, not too many. Let's have a look here versus our Bob Carr versus Max Maka lineup. So as you can see, clearly demonstrated the level 4 versus the level 2. That already sets you back because you cannot play your max level monsters. Okay. Very, very, very critical to in tournaments to play max level for the league that you are looking at. Gotten One coming through in the end. The question is, does he have enough? And there is just too much to get through. A whole lineup of monsters. Too much to bite off. Bad Pixie versus Bang. Bang Yogi. All right. Another Tarsa versus Tarsa. Here's another level 3. Again, a lower level. Bang went with just the one monster, the Tinderlock of all ones. Okay, another Riftwatcher one. The Last Stand is going to kick in, increasing damage. The question is it enough? Is it enough to get him there? It may just be, especially if the other team keeps missing. You know, those misses may... Well, there you go. Not enough misses in the house, and Bad Pixie does take away a win. I'll be back. I get the feeling of what cards I need to level up first, so I am learning. Well, that's good, Bob. You know, the entry fee of the tournament is very, very low. You know, so for that learning experience, there isn't really much cost other than that, unless you spend a little bit on renting. Okay, but even if you do rent a couple of silver cards, it shouldn't break the bank, in my opinion. Max Marcus said, yep, Bobcar, a tip for you. If it's a Divine Shield rule sets, it's always better to go with a full team. Yes, you want to go as wide as possible. So you choose lower level mana monsters so that you can fill up with all 6. And all 6 of those monsters will at the very least take 2 hits before your opponent kills them. And that's why it's better to go wide with the Divine Shield. Same can be said for Kelia, right? With the +1 armor. Or in an armor rule set, okay? You try to go as wide as possible in those with those summoners or with those rule sets. Yeah, free shields are great. Free shields are great. It means they survive for just that little bit longer. In order to do more damage, of course, right? Ultimately, we're trying to kill our opponent. So I do believe, no, we're not yet. There is still 2 people that need to finish their lineups. So we can watch another one. SB Jin, always a nice one to watch. Going up versus the Ilthane. Ilthane versus Ilthane. With not much ranged in the mix. So half of their ability going to waste a little bit. But the +1 speed, always valuable. Being countered, of course, with our time mage and the slow. But a very, very similar lineup in the end. Bottom here, we've gone with the Dumaki. On top, we've gone with the Time Meddler. Both Riftwatcher cards, fairly new to our game. Volqueen in the front now, starting to stack those scavengers, becoming a, formidable tank. Dumaki carrying on doing work in the back line. I suspect that in the end, the Dumaki is gonna be the difference maker here. Really like this Dumaki. If I had a life team, Dumaki would be definitely one of the first cards I would be leveling myself. It is a pleasure, Bob Carr. As you know, it's always been my intention to add value to our community, and thanks Max Maka and other people around, for helping our community. We do appreciate you. So we've made it to round 3. I think, okay, now we're on the 32. I was miscounting earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yes, exactly. So now we're 32, the top 32 players left. Queen Sylvia still in the house. Cup Durin, Krakops, some new names that I don't recognize. Shaw, Ragnar from the YGG Syndicate, very nice. 2U still in the house. Baby Wipes, oh my god, SP1. All right, interesting names, interesting names. Fire Fist, I recognize this one from last time. Come get some back. Splinterlands, are you there as always? And Special 3D. Or is that Specialed? Specialed. GG Legacy, the first division. Let's see if we got some matches complete yet. We do. Slay for Red versus Jibaba. Tarsa versus Tarsa, level 4 versus level 4. Again with a Holy Protection. Man, seems like we're getting Holy Protection every other rule set here. Sneak's doing work in the back. Retaliate. Always nice to get a free hit in. Monkey goes down. No more repairs and no shields. No retaliates. Finally gets off a retaliate, but does fall in the end to Jaiba or Jabazai. Very nice. Let's see. Sheepdog versus Shiners. Shiners? Shinrez? The Mercenary Guild versus no guild. Interesting. If you're looking for a home, Sheepdog, feel free to join the YGG Discord and look around. Another Holy Protection. My, oh my. It seems like that's all they have available for this tournament. Some Holy Protection rule sets. Let's go. Grun goes down. The Pixie, the Bramble Pixie, does survive the onslaught. Only for half a round though. Misses always helpful to keep your characters alive. More misses coming in. Finally, the Parrington goes down. Prismologist up front, being stunned as well, cannot complete this killing spree. And the Obsidian from Sheepdog does take the win. Max Maka versus Specialed. Kelja versus Kelja. Legacy versus Legacy. The YGG Legacy and the GG Legacy. Small team here with a magic play versus the little bit of a wider team, and of course our Cethrapod in the front. Everybody's got the opportunity and laying the Narissa down to slumber. Baby Wipes versus Huangku. Huangquan? Huquan? I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. Trying my best. Obsidian versus the Fernheart. With only one ranged play. Interesting, interesting. Suppose the extra health does come in handy. Taunt in the second position. Not usually my positioning for a taunt. Thorns in the back, taking those opportunities and sneaks, hurting them all the way through. Uraeus not having poison at this level does certainly make things more complicated. And the Fernheart walks away with the win versus the Obsidian. Perhaps not enough on the magic play with the Obsidian there. So let's watch our second game here for Max Maka. Thaddeus versus Thaddeus this time round. Two very small teams, both with the Windy Coup in the front, and the Soul Strangler and Chaos Agent versus the Bonesmith. Bonesmith, of course, not going to be hurt by the thorns. That was a very big hit with that Enrage quite early on. Sadly, the poison landed on the Windy Coup, taking it out, ending up with the Soul Strangler in front doing no damage and falling to the Bonesmith. Sad luck there on the RNG a little bit. Could have turned out very, very differently. I am Gem versus Dipta. Kelja versus Kelja. Bad setups. I think just a little bit of bad RNG. I wouldn't really call it a bad setup. If that poison didn't land on that Wendigo, I think things could have been very, very different for you, Max Maka. So two solid lineups here from the water side. We have the Axemaster on top. We've got the new Riftwatcher card, the Sea Stalker. Very interesting card. I especially like the higher level cleanse it provides, up in gold and higher. 5 damage is very, very solid for a card. Things are not looking too hot for the Dipta team. And I Am Gem walks away with a win in the bag. Well played, well played. Let's watch one of these. Oh, this is a long lineup. So Tsuyu with the Ilthane, BO2 with the Kelia. +1 speed versus +1 speed. So from that perspective, they are on equal playing field. Kelia, though, gives an armor where Ilthane gives reflect or return fire. So this Zenith Archer may be getting hurt in the process. But the Deep Lurker doing work, as always. Dumaki and our Stitch Leech as well. But they do fall quicker than the Lurker. Possibly due to that armor from the Kelia kicking in. Dumaki still surviving for now, generating quite a few misses with the 5 speed. Very interesting, but it doesn't carry him to the end. B2 does take the win, I think. Unless I looked at that wrong. Let's look at our second match here. Sloan versus... Ooh, okay, this does not look good for BO2. Ilthane, you don't really want to pick the Rangers. He's only got 1 in the team, though. He's gone with a Harpy and a Gargoya Scrapper here for his other members. His backline already taking damage from the return fire. Tank goes down. Secondary tank falls shortly after. And 2U does walk away with our win. I see he's in the Blue Pill Society. I believe that is Mumple's guild, if I'm not mistaken. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you here. Let's carry on watching here. We got 2 more. The Thispa play versus the Tarsa. A level 1 versus a level 1. Okay. Strange. I suppose... No, that is definitely strange. I guess neither of you had the available summoners for the Fire League. Or for the Fire Splinter, rather. Sometimes we get forced to play, you know, splinters that we don't have. I often find myself playing a life rule set or a fire rule set where I don't really have the monsters available. Wow, they go down in a draw, killing each other in the end, taking us to the last and final match. Life versus the Kelia. I need to refresh. Once again, we have a bug on our hands. Seems to happen on the regular. Could be my browser. Could be the game. No sound, please. I prefer to play my Splinterlands in silence. I'm not really a fan of the battle music. I don't mind the gameplay sounds, but I do dislike the music. It is not pleasant to the ear. So the Sloan team doing work here versus the Kelia, even with the sustain from the Guardian, it is not enough. And the Scavo, right? The Scavo hireling also with repairs. It isn't enough. The Sloan eats through the armor. Aha. So the reverse speed is what really counted in to use favor there. We're in round 4. We've got our top 16. Sabosuki, Shiki, I Am Gem, 2U, CryptoPaps, OMG SP1, Small Circle, Kip Duran, Shaw, Baby Wipes, Bad Pixie, Slafer Red, Specialed, Stevie Nicks, Queen Sylvia, and Sheepdog. Definitely some names we've seen here at the top. There are also a lack of other names that usually do make it to our top 16, but are not here today. Perhaps they got knocked out earlier. So what's on your mind, guys? What are your experiences with Splinterlands? Are you enjoying the latest things happening? Are you upset with the latest things happening? How about this latest proposal on DEC purchases with for the Power Stones, getting access to those Gladiator cards with the DEC, the Gold Foil Gladiator, and the Legendary, or an extra chance of getting Gold Foil and Legendary cards in your Gladius packs? Max Maka says it is stupid. Okay. I'm not in agreement, but I've been waiting a very long time to get my hands on Gold Foil Gladiator cards. In fact, I have been saving up my points, my merit points, in order to wait for us to purchase the shop to get to the Power Stones. But now I'll be able to purchase those sooner if it does pass. So I'm quite excited. I was definitely a yes. Why do you feel it is stupid, Max? Bobcar, I see the price of SPS has dropped big time. It has. There has been a drop in both DEC and SPS recently after the nice pump that went up for DEC. There are some people making claims that it's a pump and dump. And while there were some individual people who did sell at the top, so they purchased lower DEC and then they sold at the top, I don't see it personally as a pump and dump. I think there were way too many players doing different things at the same time for that to be the reality, right? There may have been some people individually taking advantage of that pump, okay, because it was a pump. That we cannot deny. There was a sustained period where DEC was purchased a lot on the daily, right? And it continued for at least 2 weeks. Max Maka says $1.5 for packs with both stone. Mostly it will be for whales. Okay, I didn't look at the price. That is quite a high amount of DEC that you will need to invest. Wow. Yeah, that does kind of make it a whale game, $1.50 for one pack. Pretty expensive. It's not a huge deal either way, but I like that there are things in the game that need to be earned. Sure, sure. I am in agreement with that. You know, there does need to be time and attention and effort put in order for these higher level things to be achieved, right? Leveling up a guild takes time. Getting to higher tiers and higher earnings takes time. Good luck buying stones, paying 1,500 DEC. Yeah, like you said, that is quite a steep price. So if I'm understanding you correctly, that'll be 1,500 DEC per stone. So that would make it actually $3 per pack? Or is it 750 and 750 per stone? I hear you, Bobcar. Some of the things in this game are expensive. They are expensive. But, you know, I don't consider myself a whale. And slowly but surely, I do intend to eventually reach champion. That is my goal in the game. Whether I'll be able to achieve it one day, you know, at my snail pace, is yet to be determined. I don't really know if I can. There are many people out there that are shouting at me and saying it's impossible, it cannot be done. You cannot keep up with the yearly release. And I'm arguing that you don't need to buy the entire collection in order to compete, right? If you choose your cards carefully and come up with a team and team combos that can make you competitive, sure, you won't be as competitive perhaps as someone who has access to a full deck because you don't have all the cards. But if you choose right, in the right rule set, in the right match, I think you can come out on top, even with not having all of the cards in the game, just a select few at the right levels. And that's what I'm trying to do. That is what I'm trying to achieve with my deck. So Max Marcus says it's 750 plus 750 for one pack. Okay. So 5 cards, 5 stones. Okay. I see what you're saying. All right, so that's 5 stones and 5 stones, 750 plus 750. Okay. Yeah, it's not cheap. It is certainly not cheap. Of course, there are only 3 to 5 guilds who can purchase this gold foil stone so far. So still for the whales only. I could say perhaps not just whales, perhaps some dolphins and sharks as well, right? I mean, I could see myself spending a little bit of DC to try and get some gold foils. Perhaps not for all my packs, not for all my Gladius packs, but certainly some of them I would consider at that price. Max says, I vote no for those, but I think people don't care. That proposal is just BS, perhaps. They should lower the requirements to more people could buy stones and lower the price to like 500 DEC. To get a foil, you need an 8-level store. Yes, it is a very, very high level store. I've never really understood that, to be honest with you. Why is it such a high level requirement to get access to those stones? I really think they could have put it at level 4, maybe even lower than that. The spyglass, I think, could be something that could be moved up or removed entirely, honestly. Perhaps come up with something else that can be purchased in the store instead of a spyglass. Yeah. But I do hear you. I think a lower price would certainly go a lot further for majority of our community. So I am Gem versus 2U, Water versus Thaddeus. Level 3 Thaddeus versus a level 4 Kalia. Both with Y teams and fairly small monsters. Riftwing versus the cruel Cephalopod. No magic play on the other side, so the Thaddeus -1 magic going to waste a little bit. The Venari Bonesmith not having poison at this level also, it seems. Although earlier we landed a poison from the Bonesmith. So I think this one is perhaps just too low a level. It is not at the right level to have the poison. Magic carrying on doing work. Range now starting to fall into the first position, ceasing their damage, but not much left on the Thaddeus team. Still life leech, but the bandit and the combined damage from Gem is enough to get her there. I say her because I am Gem sounds like a girl name, but I could be wrong. It could be a guy as well. I'm not really sure. I don't know I am Gem personally, so I don't know if they are a male or a female. Obsidian versus the Sloan. A level 1 versus a level 4. Yeah, I don't think it's going to go well for the Sloan. Quickly falling to the onslaught of magic from the Obsidian. Earthquake doing a little bit of ticks of damage in the end, but not enough to make any impact on that game. Queen Sylvia and Sheepdog. Water versus the Ilthane. It got a gold Marisol Contuna from my last pack with no stones. Yes, look, I mean, you know, Bobcar, ultimately your Gladius packs, there is always a chance to get a gold foil. There is always a chance to get a legendary, right? But what the stones do is the same as what the potions do for normal packs, right? They give you, I think it's double the chance of receiving a gold foil and double the chance of receiving a legendary, right? So increasing your chances of getting them. It is not the only chance of getting them. It just gives you more of a chance of getting them. That's what it's all about. Okay, so we have achieved our top 8. We're in round 5. Baby Wipes versus Specialed. I Am Gem versus Kip Duran. Slafer Red versus Queen Sylvia. I'm loving these matchups. I think they are strong. Krill OMG SP1 representing his guild here for the first time. Doing very nicely. And Sabusuki. Okay. Definitely names I recognize. Good luck, guys. I hope you do well. Let's see if we got a match to watch yet. Not just yet. Let's carry on watching one of our previous round matches. In the meantime, let's watch the last battle here for Crypto Paps and OMG Thaddeus versus Thaddeus. Wendiku and the Arachne Thug from the Rift Watcher squad versus a fairly standard Chaos Legion lineup here with a little bit of older card, the Onyx Sentinel, always a classic here in the front. Being sped up here from the Supply Runner in a gold Supply Runner, I'll have you know. Bling bling for sure. Silent Shovey coming into the tank position. Not the ideal place for it, certainly. The double damage off the stun there with the knockout being in play. And nicely done. OMG does take the win in the end. All right, so we have some games lined up. Baby Wipes versus Specialed. Kelia versus Obsidian. Not much magic on the Obsidian side. You're a lot less than I would have gone with. I suppose it is the Melee Mayhem rule set. Thorn's doing work in the back there. This Taunt absorbing most of the damage up until this point. Tank still standing, but finally going down in round 4. Some misses being generated here off the Regal Parrington. And the Obsidian taking the win. Nicely done. I Am Gem versus Kip Duran. A Tarsa, no, not a Tarsa, a Skargor versus the Kelia. Black Lotus versus Sick, or SIC, not sure how to say that guild name. Silence doing work here from the Tinderlock. The Ash Mirage as well. So quite a few Rift Watcher cards here in play. Also got the Rift Watcher Sea Stalker here on the other side. Things not looking too great for the Kelia team this time round. The damage from the Skargor team was just too much to get through. Slafer Red versus Queen Sylvia. Very good matchup here. Kelia versus Kelia. Demon Shark, Axemaster in play. Demon Shark on the other side with a slightly different lineup. They've also gone with the Wave Brood in the back for the Taunt, but with the Demented Shark. The Demented Shark is from the Untamed set, but you only need one BCX in order to get the Inspire, right? And I do find that it does help our melee monsters for the Kelia Summoner in particular. So definitely something to look into. The Wave Brood on top goes down in round 2, early round 2. Secondary tanks now in play. Demon Shark down in both cases. Poison carrying on to tick. That Zenith Monk healing himself up, keeping him fresh to get to the front just as the game is coming to a close, and that full health monster falls into the front and survives. Queen Sylvia takes the win. I've often seen that play used. Keep that in mind with your self-healing tanks, right? In the poison matchup, if you place him somewhere towards the back, towards the end of the game or the battle, he does end up in the front with a fairly healthy state, and in that way does survive most of the time. I can't say always, but certainly has a much better chance to get you the W. Obsidian versus Obsidian. And guys, please feel free to bring up topics for discussing. If you're not really interested in my battle breakdowns, I know I'm not the smoothest of battle casters. Rogue, I believe, does a much better job than me, and there are some other people out there in our community that do, but I try my best. If you would like to talk about something else, though, please feel free. Bring up a topic, ask a question. Happy to discuss whatever you would like. Baby Wipes with a win here for the Japanese side. Well played. Let's look at our last match here for Baby Wipes versus Specialed. The Thispa versus the Ilthane. No range in play, so Ilthane going a bit to waste, except for the speed, of course, which is handy for any monster, unless you're in the reverse rule set, that is. Being countered a little bit by the Time Mage with the slow, of course. But even with that, things are looking pretty good for the Ilthane team here. Jumaki goes down, the backline is starting to crumble. Finally, our secondary tank now moving into position in the front. Backline continuing to fall. Not enough damage coming out from Specialed, and Baby Wipes walks away with the W. Well played, well played. We are officially in our top 4. We do have a couple of more games here to watch. Let's watch the second one from Slafer and Queen Sylvia. Ilthane versus the Kelia. Silent Summoners in play. Tank falling very quickly for the Ilthane. Secondary tank coming into position, doing quite a bit of damage to the Demon Shark. Prismologist doing blast damage, of course hurting that backline continuously. And the blast continuing to do work all the way to the end here. Slafer falls to the Ilthane and the Prismologist and the blast damage. Well played, Queen Sylvia. Very nicely done. Sabuki versus OMG. Let's look at our second game here. Ilthane versus... No, sorry. Tarsa versus Kelia. Both level 4. Slightly different approach. The Demented Shark being used here to buff the sneak attackers. The Disintegrator debuffing, of course, that Inspire, or losing or taking away that extra damage. Equaling the playing field in that regard. Very low damage. Of course, as long as that Disintegrator remains alive, no damage will be falling on the Ant Platoon with their shield ability, right? And especially here on the lower levels, right? Keep that in mind. If you can get your opponent to 1 damage on a minion with shield, and I mean ranged and melee damage, that is, that monster won't take any damage, right? And it's fairly easily achievable here at the lower levels. Often a play that that has been used against me and I've used versus other people. Let's look at our last match here between Gem and Kip Duran, again with an Obsidian lineup. Slightly different. We've got some Riftwatcher cards coming into play here. The Sedai Shaman and the Uloth Damphir and the Scavo Technomancer. Taunt goes down in both cases. Thorns, not really anything that either of these sides were willing to contend with. Very strong hit there from the Sedai Shaman. Ooh. And the win goes to Kip Duran. Nicely done. That will leave our last matches here for OMG and Sabusaki. Ilthane versus the Tarsa. Very thin team here, only 3 and 4. Obviously a very low mana match. Reflect magic, no magic can play, so not really a factor here. Starting to lose the back line here. And Tsubasaki takes the win, takes the W, and moves on to our next round. Well played, well played. Kip Duran with our last one here. No, I've watched this already. Okay, skip, thank you. And that means we're in our semifinals officially. Queen Sylvia versus Baby Wipes, Kip Duran versus Sabusaki. Sabusuki, perhaps. If I'm saying that wrong, feel free to correct me or make fun of me and my pronunciations. Thispa versus the Kelia, both going for the water lineup here. Extra speed coming in from the supply runner here for Kip Duran. I think that may be the difference maker in the end. Especially with Thispa being used at level 1, right? So very, very low summoner. Sabusuki with Kip Duran, level 4 versus level 2. So, you know, Bob Carr, I stand corrected. It is possible to achieve high levels in a tournament with lower level cards. Sabusuki has demonstrated that it can be done, but I do think a fairly high amount of luck is required in order to do that. I've certainly never been able to achieve high levels without having the appropriate levels of summoners and monsters. Well played, Kip Duran. You have officially made it through to our final round. Watching Queen Sylvia and Baby Wipes here. Thaddeus versus Kelia. Demon Shark up at front. The ever-hungry Skull. Quite fortunate that our Kelia team doesn't have any magic in the mix, right? Otherwise, this guy is toast. He does take a couple of hits and even a miss thanks to the flying. Wow, a second miss coming into play, a third miss coming into play. Very, very fortunate turn of events there. Another miss. It seems like the Baby Wipes team is just too slippery for Queen Sylvia. Well played, well played. Our second match here, another Kelia, no, not another Kelia versus Kelia, but a Kelia versus Kelia. The previous one was Thaddeus versus Kelia. Axemaster coming out again. We don't have an Axemaster on top, but we do have our Runecrafter with the Fury. Sadly, no Wave Brood in play, so nothing that he can really be used effectively on. Axemaster and team making quick work of that Wave Brood. One more round, so falling very early in the second round. Tank falling in both sides. Nerissa moving to the front. But Queen Sylvia and the Axemaster team does come out on top for this one. GG, well played. Taking it to a third and final match here in our semi-finals. We're all waiting with bated breath before we could see it. All right, I'll do it. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. Hide battle results until viewed. Okay, in progress, silver, battles, there we go. Not in our final round yet, still waiting for our last game here. Okay, so battle between Sylvia and Baby Wipes, Obsidian versus Obsidian. The Nectar Queen in the front, not a tank you see often from the Untamed set. The Perlicore Mercenary and a secondary tank in the form of Grunt here. Strong magic play from Queen Sylvia, a little bit less so from Baby Wipes. That miss may be painful. Grunt falling shortly after the other tank. Secondary tank falling on Queen Sylvia's side as well. Top team starting to crumble under the damage, and Queen Sylvia walks away with the W, taking her to the final. We have Kip Duran, a new name that I don't really recognize. I do recognize the Black Lotus Guild though. There has been some players from Black Lotus competing here before, but it's the first time I see Kip Duran. Good luck to both of you. I wish you the best. I think it was still visible. Yes, I think it was still visible. As I've said before, the supposed streaming function doesn't function very well at this stage. Perhaps some more could be done to make it function a little bit smoother. I'm not really sure how to approach it. it is difficult. It is difficult when you're, live streaming a tournament and you're trying to show the games and, show the results or not show the results before the match actually takes place on screen, right? That's the intention here. I know they tried something, but it hasn't really, sorted out the issues that we have. More work is required. More work is required. So, teams still being selected. We're not quite there yet. Thanks for those of you who stuck around up until this point. Only 4 of you remaining. I do realize there's not much action or conversation happening. Feel free to, bring a topic up if you would like to discuss something. Doing these solo streams can be hard. I do prefer to have, a team of, a panel of hosts, and in that way we can keep the conversation flowing. We have different things to talk about. We have different perspectives to share, different input on the game and the battles. A lot more fun in general. If this one continues to be only me, I will probably not continue doing it for very long. If I do get some other YGG members that can join me here for the European stream / Asian stream, then I will definitely continue. If I don't, this possibly can be the last one that you'll see from me. Just putting it out there. Our first match is there. Queen Sylvia with the Obsidian play, Kipturin with the Kelsa, or Kelia rather, not Kelsa. And 2 very small teams, obviously a low mana battle in play here. Only 14 mana. Magic hurting that tank right off the get-go, killing very early in round 2. The other tank also falling in round 2. Thorns doing work in the secondary tank. And the range up front doing nothing. Queen Sylvia takes the win with the Magic Obsidian play here. 2 more battles for us to watch. Sorry, I didn't catch. What did you say? So I did say that unless I can find some co-hosts to join me in the YGG or from the YGG community to join me here on my on the Silver Weekend Challenge, the Silver League Weekend Challenge, I will probably not be continuing the stream for long. It is not as much fun to do it on your own as it is to do it with a group of members. And so far, Hellraven has been the only one to join me. And he's still an American, so it is difficult for him to join me here consistently. So I would prefer some of our European community / Asian community to come and join me, come and help me out. So if you're a YGG member and you are a streamer, consider this an invite, an official invite to join me here as a host, as an official host of the Silver League Weekend Challenge. I am asking for help. Our second match is on the board, Kelia versus the Skargor. Mixed feelings about the Skargor. I've seen some really good battles, and I've also seen some really bad battles. I suppose that is the randomness of the enraged, and when when your monster gets damaged, right? Because the enrage only really kicks in once the damage lands, not earlier. The repair and the sustain does win out the day for Queen Sylvia. We have one more match to go before our winner is determined. Who will it be? Well, possibly one match if Queen Sylvia gets the win. It could go all the way to 5 if Kipdurin can pull out a W. Max Maka says, I will consider this if you don't mind, but I really like those tournaments as a participant. Max Maka, you can always participate in the tournament, even if you are a host. In fact, within YGG, if you are a host of a stream and you participate and win, there is an extra prize available to you to be claimed. So consider that an extra challenge on top, perhaps. There is no reason that you cannot participate and host at the same time. Or be a co-host. I understand you can't be the main host because, there are things that you do need to pay attention to and look out for. Very, very difficult to do that and play. But a secondary host that doesn't need to talk all the time, it is certainly possible to play. Rogue has done it in the past. There has been other players, Baku Oni and somebody else that I can't remember now, that have walked away with the extra prize for winning the tournament while hosting at the same time. Yeah, no stress, Max Maka. I don't expect you to carry a conversation throughout our stream, certainly not. But I thank you for considering it. Let me know what you end up on, or where you end up. Also, don't feel any pressure that you have to do this, right? There is no pressure here. This is a voluntary request for help. If my request falls on deaf ears, then I am considering to stop this weekend challenge. I will no longer be doing it. The tournament may still continue, but me hosting the stream may end if it's just me doing a solo adventure consistently. Not as much fun. Not as much fun. So let's see. Another match on the board. Thaddeus from the Queen Sylvia versus the Sloan from Kipdurin. Another low mana match. The Arbalist doing work versus that Windiku, right? And Kipdurin walks away with the W, taking us to possibly a 5-game end here. So let's see, hanging on with bated breath, who is it gonna be? Is Kipdurin gonna do a reverse sweep and take away the W? Or is Queen gonna put the final nail in the coffin and be our winner once again? She has been crowned before. The question is it gonna be the same today? Or are we gonna have a new champion? Don't have our next game up yet. Patiently waiting, as you can see. Still nothing there. Taking their time, inputting their teams, really thinking about it and squeezing out those minutes before they click battle, making sure that they've got the right lineups to take the win. Keeping us in suspense here. Do-de-do. What to do when you're waiting for a match to pop up. Really pushing it here. Yeah. All we can do is wait. Not much choice in the matter. They need to finish their game before we can watch it. There we go. We have fourth game up. Skargor versus the Kretsch. Dragon versus Fire. Also Fire in the mix here on the bottom side. Uraeus coming into play on both sides. Ash Mirage, Riftwatcher card, doing work there from the back. The new Whelp from the Riftwatchers also coming into play here on the Dragon side. Not much magic, obviously, because we have the Reflect Magic rule set in play. And Kip, it seems, does walk away with, let me not speak too early, but it does look like it's a W here, right? So taking us to the fifth and final match. I love that. I love a good challenge when things are harder for our players. Going all the way to 5 games. Good luck, Kip Duran, Queen Sylvia. May the best player come out on top. Who is it going to be? Who is your money on? Is it going to be our previous victor, Queen Sylvia, or is it going to be the new contender, Kip Duran, taking the W for today? That is the ultimate question. Still no game for us to watch. The delay could, of course, also be due to that setting that I changed, that it's taking so long to update. I have found that it's very slow in updating when you activate that special feature, right? it does take longer to update, deliberately so. I think that's part of the design, to be a little bit slower in its progress, to allow for a stream to, show the games live. I suspect that's something that has got to do with, don't know for sure, of course. Still waiting. Semis and our final round not completed yet. Suspense building. Can we get a final match on the board? Damn, it was there. It is there. We see it. We go. Yeah, bugs. Bugs. Right, Scargor versus Arkelia. Torhelio being deployed. No magic damage on the other side, so his skills really going a bit to waste. He is still a strong tank though, even if it is a non-magic play. Tank falling on the fire side. Secondary tank going down not long after. Tinderlock falling in that position. We do still have the Forgotten One all the way at the back, but I do think the consistent damage from Queen Sylvia and her team is going to be the number. Some retaliates, taking some damage, or returning some damage at the very least, but Queen Sylvia does work away with the W. Guys, thank you for joining me today. If you are a winner of a Chaos Legion pack in this tournament, please join our Discord to claim your packs. For those of you who've done so before, you know the drill. Just give us a shout out there, and I will send those packs out to you. Thank you for competing, guys. It's been awesome to chat with you. And it was a little bit of a strange team there. Perhaps that was the best lineup he could put forward, or he thought that Queen Sylvia was perhaps going for a different tactic. Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for sticking here till the end. I will see you out in the Splinterverse. Until next time, Damour the merrier. Cheers, guys.